traveler has come.
Nobody choose anything! Did you choose anything?
No.
Did you?
My mind is totally blank.
I didn't choose anything! I couldn't help it.
Look!
No! It can't be.
What is it?
It can't be.
What did you do, Ray? Oh, shit.
Mother puss bucket.
Okay, so I just recently watched a new Ghostbusters film, and overall it was just meh. That's all I can really say about it. Now, I'm going to point this out straight away. I'm not the biggest Ghostbusters fan. I like the film. Like, not this one, I like the first one. I should have made more sense there. I enjoy the first one as a film. Like, I'm not like one of those people who we buy Proton Park and we have an Echo. It's called Echo, isn't it? Echo, whatever it's called. We have one of them in the back garden, and we've just got a picture of Slimer on the wall or something. I'm not one of those. Just the idea of having a picture of Slimer just on the wall. I'm not one of the biggest fans. The thing, like I said, I like the film. Like, I like the first one. That's the thing. So I'm not judging this review based off what the other one did and la 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 la. Although I will have to go into that at some point, because that's one of the key bad points of the film, if I'm perfectly honest. But so basically, a lot of people didn't like this film straight away, mainly because they didn't like the idea of a reboot. Now, I'm up for a reboot if they need it. So, like, I can start, like, say, I'm just going to take an example. Say, The Last Airbender. Really crap film. But if someone did a reboot of that series, it might be better. It could be, although they shouldn't really. But maybe, like, film-wise, if they did another, it might be better. Like, maybe, like, Legend of Korra or something like that. Like, something new would be good. But the thing is, like, with this Ghostbusters thing, it's just too similar. There's nothing new. There's nothing there. And even then, like, all the jokes are just drowned and boring. Like, there's only a few funny jokes, and they all come from Chris Hemsworth. That's literally the whole thing. There's not much there in terms. It's watchable. I'm not saying it's not. It's not like the worst film I've ever seen. It's just not the best film I've seen. So anyway, the new team. Like I said before, a lot of people were just judging it basically because they're women, and that's just the whole thing. They don't like the idea of like a multi thing. Like I hate it when a character is judged on the gender before the actual character. Because, like, I can't remember where it's from, someone mentioned it. Normally, male characters, they're judged by their character, and then the male. And then with female characters, they're always judged as female before the actual characteristics. That's sort of a weird thing which films do for some reason. I don't know why, but I didn't mind the new team. It was just jokes and stuff. Like, the chemistry between them was probably good for someone who enjoys that sort of humour, but I just really didn't. The actual team I should probably mention. Basically, we had Abby, who was played by Melissa McCarthy. I can't really say much about most of these actresses because I know there's people who have like a big fan base. Like, they have big fan bases, so I'm trying not to offend them. But well, actually, you know what? Fuck them. Basically, Melissa McCarthy I've never seen a film with her in, or at least as far as I'm aware. So I don't know what sort of actress she is or something. She was okay in this, but it was just a bit, eh. Then we got Erin, who was played by Christine Wiig. She was okay. It's just a lot of the problems were they were just too similar to the Ghostbusters of the first film. It's like the whole thing. So obviously you got the two scientists, the engineer, and the New Yorker, as I'm gonna say. It's just a bit. The engineer was played by her name was Julian, played by Kate McCoy, and then we had Patty, who was played by Leslie Jones. And then we also had the receptionist, who it was Kevin, I think. Yeah, Kevin. I can't even remember. Jesus. It was Kevin, and he was played by Chris Hemsworth, which he was actually really good. as that role. I'll get onto that in a minute. It's just the problem with the film is there's nothing new. Like, it's just like the idea of a remake or reboot is you do something fresh, and like the whole idea. I think the whole idea just for this thing was they've reversed the genders. That's it. I just honestly don't see much more there. I just really didn't see much. But like I said, there's people out there who just think it's amazing just because of the humour. I don't get the humour. I'm saying this as someone who's okay with Ghostbusters. Like, I'm not this massive die-hard fan. Like I said, I'm not. It's just I don't know. It's a bit of a weird thing to talk about. It's just quite weird, like talking about a reboot, because I know there's some people who like the film and I'm going to get hate for that, but there's people who will agree with me, but probably for wrong reasons. I don't know. So anyway, moving on to the good points. I have to say now, visual and special effects were really good. Like, the fight scenes looked really cool, the ghosts looked really cool, Slimer looked really cool, and like the Stay Puft thing, and like the final boss, as I like to think, which is basically the Ghostbusters logo, they all looked really cool. So props to the special effects guys on that front. Next point I have down is Kevin's parts. So basically Chris Hemsworth plays his dumb receptionist, and honestly he just has some of the funniest lines in the film. Like, they were times when I would laugh the most. Like, I just really enjoyed his character. Like, he was just like so random and stuff. Like, I enjoyed that part of the humour. Although the other parts weren't very good, in my own opinion. But anyway, Chris Hemsworth was really good. He actually kind of stole the show. Like, I was waiting for more like Kevin parts. He was quite funny. Like, and just like his humour, I quite liked it. Another thing, this is just a side note. Basically, one of my favourite bands, Fall Out Boy, did the cover thing. I just want to say I actually quite enjoy the cover. I don't know why. It's just something a bit, like, I want to say groovy about it, but I don't know why I want to say groovy. That's a weird word to say now. But just something I like about it. It's just a little side note there. Now moving on to the bad points. Like I said before, most of the jokes just weren't funny to me. Like, the humour was lost on me. I believe the director did other things, especially with Melissa McCarthy, but like I said, I just really didn't get some of the humour. Like, some of it just wasn't funny. I just couldn't laugh at it. Like I said, the only bits I did laugh at was the Kevin parts. And like, there was a few little things, but it's just like most of their jokes just fell a bit flat in my own opinion. Like, there was nothing really there. It just felt a bit off in my own opinion. Another thing was the pacing and the editing was a bit weird. Like, the pace was really weird for this film. It was a bit, I don't know how to sum it up. It was just a bit weird. Like, the pace, like, I don't know. It just felt a bit off. So, like, it jumps too much. Like, they've tried to fit too much in. That's another point here as well. But a lot of the stuff in there wasn't needed. So, like, example, there's a scene with I can't remember his name. Bill Murray, who was at one of the original Ghostbusters, and basically he says like, "Oh, reveal the ghost and stuff," and then he ends up getting chucked out a window. But like I said, it just wasn't needed. Like, the main problem with film, and this is another point as well which I had wrote down, it runs off your nostalgia. So things are just put in there just for nostalgia's sake, just to please some of the more die-hard Ghostbusters fans. It's like, for example, like the Stay Puft Man, he's just a balloon. He only appears for one bit, just for the idea of nostalgia. So does Slimer. Slimer does more, but he basically just hijacks their hearse or whatever. I don't even think they give it a name. He just hijacks their hearse and drops it into a thing. Slimer was quite funny, but it's just, like I said, the film runs off nostalgia, and that's one of the main problems. It just doesn't. There's nothing really new there. Like, there's just too many nods. Like, I know there's cameos from all of the, well, most of the, well, actually, yeah, technically all of the Ghostbusters, because there's a statue of the guy who played Spangler, Star Spider, I don't know. Basically, I just felt off. Like, it's bad when your film has to run off the nostalgia factor of another film. It's just a bit, yeah, I just really didn't enjoy the film. It's just, like I said, the film's watchable, it's just a bit bleh. Like, there's nothing new, there's nothing fresh. Like, a reboot should refresh. By the way, I actually thought this was like a continuation of the thing, because it said like, oh, 30 years ago. On trailer, it says 30 years ago, the Ghostbusters saved the thing, and now as a new team. It sounded like it was in the thing, because obviously the original Ghostbusters was 30 years ago. So, oh my god, that's a scary thought. Like I said, it just runs off nostalgia, and it feels like they're kicking a dead horse. I'm not going to put a picture of that on, because that's just fucking wrong, but that's the idea. They're just kicking a dead horse while it's down. There's nothing new really there. It just feels a bit off. Like, there's nothing really funny. Like, the jokes weren't funny. I personally just didn't like it. There we go. I could have just summed up this whole review in, I just personally didn't like it. There we go. So, anyway, Vroom's verdict. Well, like I said, I just didn't get most of the jokes and stuff. Like, it ruins off nostalgia, and it just feels a bit, like I said, beating a dead horse. It just doesn't really feel that good. I will give props to the special effects and stuff, and Chris Hemsworth. They get props for this, but it's just besides them, there just wasn't really much there. I just more sat through it. I wasn't like thrilled or anything. Oh, by the way, there's some cheap jump scares in there, which jump scares don't really work if you kind of expect them. So, anyway, Vroom's verdict. I'm gonna give it. Oh, I don't really know. I think I'd give it a 5. Just on the basis that it wasn't bad. I'm saying this now, it's not the worst film ever, but it definitely wasn't anything new or anything. So it's just even. It's just in the middle. There's just nothing there. So that's basically, yeah, I'm going to give it a 5. So thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next episode.